This brand definitely deserves more recognition than it has right now. I feel like. And then this side, look. Whoa, color is super pretty. Hey girly girls, welcome back to my channel, and I hope you stick around, grab some water and some snacks, and let's hang out together. So today I am going to be doing first impressions review based on some of the cbeauty brands that I was talking about in my previous video. And I bought a bunch of stuff from YesStyle and they finally arrived, so we're gonna try it out today. So I'll be doing a whole makeup look. I bought a foundation, like a blush, lip, eyeshadow palette, as well as an applicator, so we can talk about it and just get ready together, I guess. The cbeauty brands that I mentioned before, they are quite affordable, honestly. When you look at the price and look at the item, you're like, it's actually not so bad. But when I start adding things that I was interested in into my cart, the bill started adding up a lot. And on top of that, I was planning to buy some of the Seek stuff because I've been eyeing them for a while and I found really good prices on OliveYoung. So that's why I didn't end up purchasing too much. I actually only ended up getting 4 items, which isn't a lot, but honestly it's enough to make a whole look. So I'm just gonna be reviewing these 4 items today, so this video is not gonna be really long. So first things first, I want to mention about the packaging. So only the Immortals brush didn't come with a plastic packaging. I took the plastic packaging out of the rest of the items, and I can see both sides of the situation because I feel like when they had the plastic wrap, it's kind of wasteful because it's one piece of plastic you just wrap the box in, and then they have more plastic pieces like the Gogo Tales ones. There's more plastic in there, so it's a bit wasteful. But at the same time, some people can argue that the plastic keeps the box in really nice shape, because the Immortals one, the box bended a little on the way here. Even though the box is bent or whatever, personally speaking, I think I would still prefer it not to have a plastic wrap because I don't really care too much how the packaging looks. I'm just gonna open it and just toss the box away anyway. So having an extra layer of plastic on all of these, I'm not really happy about that. So I guess kudos to Immortals for not doing that. I know FlowerKnow used to package their packaging in plastic wrap for every single item, but recently they stopped that for the past order, so maybe they might stop. So let's look at this SpongeBob cushion together. So this is by the brand Veecci. These two things are by the brand Veecci, and I have this SpongeBob cushion for a while now. Actually, come in 2 different sizes. I think the smaller one was $10. The bigger one costed a little more. And I have so many cushion foundations, I just wanted to try it out of curiosity, so I decided to get the small one. Oh my god, it's really hard to open. By the way, super simple hack: if you want to keep your box looking nice, use a spatula to get it out and it'll come out easily without ruining the packaging. Ta-da! Here it is. It's really cute but really small. I think it's perfect for traveling, even though normal cushions don't really take that much size. But if you want to bring around a little cushion in your bag to touch up or try out, I think this is pretty good. Oh my god! So inside the puff, it's an upside down heart shape, like a peach. It's a bit, I don't know if this is intentional. I don't know if this part here is intentional. So let's try out this cushion together. A little wrapper here. Right off the bat, this is a mesh cushion foundation, and I have quite a lot of pimple scars on my face. It's not really noticeable from far away, and I usually do my base before I start my video. I'm quite insecure with all the scars I've gotten, but my skin got really bad after moving again. Because I'm getting older, the scars don't seem to fade that much. Let's look at the coverage together. This is very small. So after using it on, honestly, it has a nice buildable coverage. It covered my acne scars. I feel like it's buildable. The problem is this is very small, and I would only recommend it for touch-ups. I wouldn't recommend it to even use for travel size because it did take me a while to just do half of my face. It has a cooling effect that I really like. When you put it on, it gives a nice cooling effect. The puff is really small, so it took a while for me to get this, but honestly I kind of like the finish. It's very natural, not super high coverage, I would say medium but buildable coverage. Did a pretty decent job with my skin overall. You can see here this half of my face, and then this side looks way more flawless. And also the shade range is very limited. I think they only have 2 shades, so you have to be basically the same shade range as these Asian girlies to be able to get this. But overall, this is not bad. I think for the full size, it's honestly a not bad cushion. For my first impression, this is a thumbs up. It's not bad. Next would be the Immortals brush. I'm actually really excited to use this because you know how much I love their puff. And the packaging of this is so adorable. I like it so much. I know some people care about keeping the packaging, but for me it's just like, I don't know, I won't keep it. Here it is. It comes with a plastic sleeve that is kind of hard to take out. Oh my god. What? I'm actually struggling here. Oh my god, I'm dumb. You're supposed to take it off the other way because it gets smaller. Sorry. Let me just BRB. So I actually kind of ruined the sides of my sleeve because I was being so dumb. This is how the brush is. The plastic end seems quite sturdy, and this brush almost feels silicone-y. It is a very stiff. It doesn't really bend, but it feels very silky and smooth, almost like those synthetic hairs, and it feels like nice and soft. So I really like the feeling of this. I touched this brush all over my finger, and then now I'm gonna put it on my face. In terms of bottle foundations, I haven't been reaching for it as much because now I've been using a lot of cushion foundations because it's so easy. But one of my favorite has been the Shoot Uemura Unlimited one. This one is their matte formula. They have a glossy one. They both perform really well, but I feel like it's not really as accessible. You can get it on YesStyle, but it's not as accessible than it is in Asia. They have flagship stores. I think they used to have flagship stores in America. I don't know if they still have them. So to make it more easier to relate to everyone, I'll be using the Yves Saint Laurent foundation, and this is their All Hours foundation. I'm gonna be honest with you, I bought this when I was living in Japan, so I don't know if their foundation shades are about the same because usually they're a bit different, but I'm using LN number 1. Usually I use a spatula all over my face, so I'm just gonna use it the way I usually do because I feel like the way it spreads that foundation, almost kind of like a paintbrush. Now I'm just gonna dip it in here and see how it goes. Full on foundation. Let's do my forehead. See some pimples there. Whoa! So this brush blends in that foundation really quick and easy. It kind of goes all over your nook and crannies pretty easily without leaving any streak marks. It got even in the corners of my nose, especially the eyes. You can go like this, and if you want to go under your eye, you can actually reach towards the inner corner of your eyes. It doesn't really irritate at all because it's really soft, and because it's so straight, you can really reach for the inner corner. Honestly, this is pretty solid. I think it was maybe $10 for this price. This is an amazing product. Personal preference, I do prefer the puff just because I feel like you can work with the foundation a lot quicker than the brush. The brush, while does not leave any streaks and make your foundation really smooth, it does take a while. But what's really good as well for the brush is that if you want to build coverage on a certain area, you can just go ahead and dip your foundation and reapply to build coverage on that area, and it does not streak or anything. It gives really thin coverage that looks really good. Honestly, I really like both of these. First impressions, just using this for the first time, it's really good. But personal preference, I do like the puff more. So it depends on which you prefer. I don't really think you need both, but honestly, they're really solid, and for the price point, I think it's pretty worth it. So I guess if you feel like using a brush, you can go ahead and use a brush. If you feel like using a puff, you can use a puff, but these are really good. I need to buy some like powder puffs from Immortals. This is low-key a really good brand that a lot of people are sleeping on. I feel like not enough people are talking about this. Next, I'm gonna be priming my eyes with my usual Fenty Beauty eyeshadow primer. I had this for a year now and I use it almost every time I do my makeup. It's almost done. Now let's look at the Veecci eyeshadow palette. I saw this palette and fell in love with it. The packaging is really cute with all these bows, so it's very me, but this is more of a dark core version. I thought the palette itself looked really cute, and this is the palette itself. I think it's super cute. Similarly to the cushion, it has this 3D wave effect going on. This is how the palette looks. Actually, they have a sponge right here, I guess, to clean your eyeshadow brushes when you use it. I've never really seen a palette with sponge in there. And personally speaking, I don't think I usually use these sponges to clean my brushes. So this palette, I chose it because the colors were really interesting. There's two different type of colors, so I chose pinkish, more cool tone one. And then they also have contour shades as well as a bigger shade here for blush, so that's really nice. I'm going to go ahead and start putting the colors on my eyes. So I'm gonna start with a light shade, so I'm probably just gonna mix these two together as a base shade. Instantly you can kind of see that this palette is pigmented. I haven't actually swatched it. I want to see how it looks in my eyes first, but it is definitely pigmented. Even for the light color, it looks really pigmented. Wow. And now moving on to a deeper shade, I'm gonna go with this one. It looks kind of like a light brown, but it's more of a mauvey, brownish, pinkish shade, and I'm gonna use that for my lower eye. That is really pretty, and it blends really easily too. Now I'm gonna be mixing both of these together. Have I mentioned that the palette has bow prints on it, which I think is really cute? And I'm just gonna also contour the bottom of my top eye. Can you see that color? I hope you can. Moving on, I'm gonna be using this palette for YesStyle. I'll be using this contour palette right here, contour color right there, with a sharp angle brush. Well, the color is really nice. And because I have a monolid, I tend to draw another line on the top part of my eye just to give it an illusion that I have a fold. But I try to not make it so obvious, a natural line. And then to even contour the eyes more, I like to go in with the deepest shade right here. What we're gonna do is use another angle brush, but this is not as sharp, like a fluffier brush. And I'm just gonna contour the inner triangle here. Wow, you can see that immediately. I don't even have to dig in more. And also the front. And that is my finished eyeshadow look. I'm gonna go ahead and finish the rest of the eye, and then we'll talk about it while I do my makeup. Oh my god, girlies, I just noticed that I did not put on my second light. So before it was kind of dark and I didn't even notice. Now I feel like, wait, something's wrong. So now you can see the colors better. Also, the light actually helps with my acne scarring. When I don't have a light, you can see it more clearly, but with this bright light, you don't really see my acne scars a lot. So if you're wondering why sometimes you can see my acne better and sometimes you can't, it's really because of the lighting. So please don't believe what you see on the internet, because it looks different in real life. Even in real life with this bright light, I still look better. Without it, in natural light, you can definitely see my acne scars more. So for my YesStyle highlighter, I use the Florette pen, and then I use this Shu Uemura, it's so crusty dusty, eyebrow pencil. And then for my eyeliner, I'm using my favorite Love liner, and this in the gray brownish shade. And for mascara, I'm using the Etude Curl Fix and the Clio Kill Lash. So Clio Kill Lash is my base, and then to make it more like dark and volumized, I use the Curl Fix. Moving on to contour. Dude, I feel like this video is kind of boring, not gonna lie. For contour, I'm gonna be using this same shading shade. It's definitely bigger. So for eyebrows, oh my god, that is so pigmented. You gotta use a lighter hand. That's my mistake. Overall, I think this palette pretty good for the price. The shadows are clearly really pigmented, and Also, the colors were pretty. As you can see, I use a lighter hand now. It looks way better. You can also use it as a contour palette. The colors blend really well. And for this price point, honestly, it is such a steal. This, I gotta say, if you haven't tried, I think they're pretty solid just from the two things that I bought. The foundation is pretty good, and also this eyeshadow palette really good for the price point, honestly. Plus, their packaging is actually really cute and bubbly. They actually put a lot of effort into this, as well as the packaging and everything. It's done really well. This box is a good quality. Last but not least, I'm gonna give myself a little highlight, and this color seems okay for highlight, so I'm gonna try and see if it works. Yeah, definitely could work as a powder highlight. I much prefer powder highlights compared to non-powder highlights. Do you see this difference, guys, with the highlight and without? It's pretty good. The color doesn't look very bright, but actually it's pretty bright, because the base shade that I use, it looks like it wouldn't be as bright, but honestly the pigmentation on this is crazy good. This palette, I am definitely giving a big thumbs up. I would super recommend it. The colors are very pretty, as I mentioned, super blendable. It's just a really good palette overall. I am pleasantly surprised by the quality of Veecci, and I think this brand definitely deserves more recognition than it has right now. I feel like no one really knows about this brand, and they really make good stuff. I am a fan of Veecci, and I'll keep a closer eye on more of their stuff. They've been coming out with some really cool stuff I've seen on YesStyle, and this one really caught my eye. I'm really glad I got it, and I would definitely recommend. Really good. Let me give you some swatches. Let me do a medium color, and then I'll do the darkest color. So this is without any eyeshadow primer on my hands or anything. When I rub in, it feels really buttery smooth, and look at this. It's actually crazy. Wow, really decent stuff. I haven't done swatches on my hand in ages. They kind of look a little bit similar, but in real life it doesn't really look as bright. These three shades back here in real life actually looks a lot muted than I'm seeing on my camera now. These ones are definitely more on the brighter side, but this is the shade that I use for my highlight and base shade. And this swatches is without any eyeshadow primer, so you can see how crazy these look. Moving on to the last thing. Now I'm not using the blush from the palette because I have a blush and lip set here from Gogo Tales, and this brand seems to be the most popular out of the rest on my poll that I put on YouTube. A lot of people seem to be really interested in Gogo Tales, and some of you guys asked me to try their heart-shaped palettes, but unfortunately, since I bought the Veecci one, I didn't want to try another eyeshadow. That's why I went with a blush and a lippie from them instead. The packaging on the lippie is actually really cute, and the plastic made of it is thick and really sturdy, so I really like that. And this is the little blush. It's kind of basic but also cute. I actually don't really remember what shade I got, but hopefully it will match this look. So I think I got a peachy shade. I guess it matches this look. Let me do a swatch right now. That melted on my finger right away. It is so smooth and buttery. It actually feels like I'm touching butter. This is the swatch right here. Wow. I think I did a good choice choosing this. It does match like the rest of the color story that I bought with the palette. Now this kind of cream formula I actually much prefer than the liquid blushes because it's so much more controllable and you can build on it. I think it's a really pretty color. Wow. Do the other side. Just do a bit on the tip of my nose. I really like how my makeup turned out. Now, last thing is for the lip. Overall, this is my second time buying from Gogo Tales. The first time I got lip gloss was really nice, but the packaging and the highlighter was just okay. I'm not the biggest fan of highlighters, so personal preference, it was okay, but this blush I definitely really like. Now let's try their lippie. The color is not as accurate on the camera as I'm looking in real life. This is such a pretty color. I guess it's kind of like a gloss. It's pretty pigmented. The color is super pretty. It looks a bit bright on camera, but in real life I really like this. I'm so happy with my makeup today. The base looks great. Also, the brush put on the foundation on this side also looks great. I only use one palette for my whole look, essentially, like the color look. The eyeshadow, I really like the colors. It looks very beautiful. It also worked as a contour palette. But personally, I feel like for contour, it's not like a grayish color. It kind of gives more of a brownish color, which I don't like as much. So I'll definitely go back to my Judy Doll one. So I definitely would not recommend to use it as a contour palette. But overall, how can I complain? This lippy is also great. So today I've only been able to try 3 brands: Immortals, Veecci, and Gogo Tales. But if I'm being honest, these 3 brands is really good. For their price point and quality of the makeup and all of the colors I'm seeing, it is really pretty. I wish I could afford to buy more things from there, but this is life and I can't afford everything all at once, so I'll be trying out more. Plus I already have so much makeup, so I don't really feel inclined to buy more sometimes just to try it. But these were the ones that I was really interested in, so I wanted to show you guys as well. I really think that these are so underrated. More people need to know about this brand. I really feel like these products are so underrated and more people should know about them. Aside from the Gogo Tales palette that was mentioned before, are there any other cbeauty products that you want me to try in another video? I know this is not a lot of products, but I hope you still enjoy this review. Let me know what else you want to watch me do or review, and I would definitely review them as soon as possible. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and follow for more girly beauty.